about Tufele and Davis?
Dom more week to week, and Tufele we'll kind of get through this week and see where it's at.
What was the fine line yesterday, Zach, in your mind of how practice finished in the skirmishes?
Well, I think our guys are playing with an edge. They're competitive, and all those issues were really with our ones versus our ones, and they're tired of each other, and they're getting to the point where it's let's start tackling and being a little more physical. And so again, I like the edge that our team has right now. I like that they're protecting each other, offense versus defense. I want more protection, obviously, as a team, and we're going to get to that. We're through this training camp phase, really. I think we have 5 practices by ourselves, until final cuts come, because we've got these games and we got the joint practices. So we're at that point now where it's good to go play Tampa Bay, and I think our team's in a really good position right now.
As far as Tampa Bay is concerned, are you still planning on the starters playing, including Joe?
Hey.
Would you consider playing Amarius longer snaps than just with the ones?
We'll see. I mean, he's up for debate, certainly in that conversation. He's going to get a lot of work, obviously, this preseason in practices, joint practices, and all those things. So, but yeah, he's up for that conversation to play a little bit longer.
Do you have an expectation of how much Joe Burrow is going to play and some of those guys?
I do.
Anything you'd like to say or share? Guys?
What do you hope to see out of Burrow?
It's not one person in specific. I want our team to come out there and all 11 guys be on the same page and be efficient and the operation be clean. Obviously, practice is so different, with just play clocks and game clocks and people on the sidelines and people behind and no officials. And so, again, we want a clean operation, efficient. Obviously, we want to see success, but we're not going to overreact to how things go. We want those guys to check that box of being out there in a game together.
Given Bailey's first game action since the injury, I mean, how important is it for him to get that experience before he gets into the week?
I don't think to me, it's not that important. He may have a different answer, and that's fine. He knows how he feels better than I do. But again, he's gotten such great work in practice. Obviously, no one's hitting him, but he's getting great pocket work, and I think his chemistry has been really good with the guys that have been out there. And so I don't have any issues with where he's at.
Yeah, I know you said that the plan for Joe and the starters, does that coincide with T. Higgins and the plan for him, where if Joe gets pulled, some of those guys would
yeah, there are some guys that are tied together on both sides of the ball.
What have you liked the most about what Joe has shown you? The pocket presence, the ability to move, just do everything he's used to doing?
Yeah, I mean, again, I've seen him play at a high level for a number of years, and so I don't overreact or underreact to anything that's going on. It's just it's where we're at as an offense, and I feel pleased with where he's at and how he's leading this team.
Can you talk a little bit about the defensive additions and what are their roles going to be and how that's going to help you?
I think if you start at safety, the communication has been very clear with those 2 guys. They've done a great job with their jobs and communicating to those around them. They're both really physical players also. They embrace that mentality. So I think that's encouraging to see back there. Sheldon Rankin's working through an injury, and so he's continuing to progress back. I like what his mindset is and how he's been when he's practiced for us. Other new additions on defense, you said?
Talk a little bit about the guys you just signed.
That additions. All D linemen, and all had a good workout and ready to help us.
With the changes in the offensive coaching staff, are there any changes to how the coaching staff communication goes during games this season?
Not really. I mean, obviously, Pitch is taking the place of Callie, but Pitch talked a lot over the years. That kind of increased as it went. So that won't be a new voice for me to hear, that communication. And then, again, everybody knows how we operate. They've all been here for a number of years, so nothing's unusual with how we do things.
How does Justin's voice then, with that being the new position for the group, how does that maybe get folded into what the mix looks like on game day? I
just have a lot of confidence in him. He's going to be next to Pitch in the press box. So a lot of times the way that works is it's easier just to hear one voice. It can throw you off a little sometimes when you hear different. You can't figure out who's asking a question, but he'll be right there with Pitch, and again, he'll have his role he'll play, and he's ready for anything and been a great addition to us.
With a preseason plan going in saying these guys are going to get X amount of snaps or X amount of series, can that change based on how the game goes, or is it just a cut and dry line?
Yeah, pretty cut and dry for us.
Zach, I know this is just the first preseason game and there's still a ways to go, but as far as your plan goes and just everything around this camp, how well do you think it's gone? How well prepared do you feel like your team is right now at this point?
Yeah, I feel like they're in good shape. We've gotten a lot of good, unscripted, move the ball, like more than we have in the past, and that helps because, you know, last year when you don't have your starting quarterback, and this isn't anything against Jay, this is just, you know, Joe's going to be back for that first game, and so you're trying to keep everything moving around and then catch him up when he inserts back, and now you don't have to think about any of that, so you're just continuing to progress. And in a lot of ways, it's a difficult camp for a lot of our young players, particularly on offense, because we're just lightning speed moving ahead, kind of to where we've been in seasons past. And so there's a lot of catch up that those guys are doing, and they're improving every single day. But it is a lot. It's not your traditional 10 years ago day one of training camp. We're just going to cover formations and the base. No, we've skyrocketed past that, and so those guys, it stresses the position coaches probably a little bit, you know, to get the young guys up to speed because there's a lot to cover. And we're not slowing down for anybody, but they've done a good job getting those guys up as best they can.
Zach, practicing on the game field today, what's the thought process behind that?
Never been on it. Yeah, never been on it. You know, brand new turf. You know, just with the concert schedule, we have not been able to get on it until yesterday's walkthrough was the first time. And so I thought it just makes sense, too much sense, to get a practice out there before we go play on Saturday.
Does it change anything, like practice-wise? Does it add anything to practice the fact that you're out there?
No. I thought it'd be good just to get a practice, just us, first of all, in the stadium. That's kind of why we moved the fan date to a different day, just 2 days before the game. Structurally, it changes things because you're down to one field instead of 3, you know, so that does change some individual periods and things like that. But we do this during the season. You know, oftentimes we'll be out there for our walkthroughs. We'll practice in the stadium a lot. So just getting – a lot of our new players haven't been out there ever. They've never been in the stadium before. And so I think it's just good before their first game action for them to get a chance to go out there and experience it a little bit.
You talk about young players. I mean, where are you at with this rookie class in terms of what you want to see on Saturday and what the biggest part of the next really 2 weeks? We've got these 5 big kind of points for them, the joint practices and games, and as far as progress, and what you really want to see out of the class.
I think the repeat mistakes, limit those, and I just want to see the overall competitiveness. I've seen a lot of competitiveness from this group in practice, rookies specifically. So now in the game, does that carry over from snap to snap? Or, you know, a lot of times when the fans get out there and it's a different opponent and, you know, you pull back a little bit, I don't want to see that. I want to see guys that are ready to unleash and prove that they deserve playing time in whatever role it is that they're playing. And so I'm excited to watch this class. I think it's a class that has real edge to them. And all these guys have really shown flashes of what we hope to see in training camp. So so far I think the class is on pace with what we hope to get out of them when we drafted them.
You mentioned that your installation process is moving along quicker than ever. Is that because of how soon you went, you know, team, let's just move the ball drills and have more inventory to choose from?
Yeah, we get a little bored. You know, again, this staff has been here for 6 years. A lot of us 4 to 6 years. A lot of the players have been here 3 to 6 years. And, you know, so the guys that are going to roll out there against New England with starting jobs have been there, done that, heard this. And so let's get going faster. Let's accelerate this process. And it's everyone's job, coaches, players, to get the younger guys that just don't have that experience yet and are hearing it for the first time, to get them up to speed. And you know, a position group that it's really stressful on is the tight ends. They have to do so much, and this offense has evolved so far. And I think that tight end group has done a great job bringing everybody along because it is tough. There's a lot of nuance there, and James spends a lot of time and energy getting these guys up to speed and very demanding of them. And the other veteran tight ends have done a great job bringing them along too.
Do you, when something like yesterday happens, let veterans handle it on their own, or do you like to bring them in and sit them down and just remind, even if they're a veteran like Ted or Logan, whoever, Jermaine, sit them down and say, hey, let's not get hurt?
We just can't afford to lose anybody. That's the thing. You know, it's football, man. It's competitive. You feel like something happened to you, and so I'm going to do this. And then you watch the tape, and everything's always just a little bit different than how maybe you remember or how you thought you saw it happen live. But I'm not. You know, I hadn't really addressed it because it hadn't come up yet. I was waiting for it to come up. I knew it would come up at some point, and it came up yesterday. And I think our guys responded the right way, and I expect us to move forward and practice as normal.
Zach, you mentioned the new surface out here. I know you're not like necessarily a turf expert or anything.
Please,
but, is there a big difference for you based on compared to what it used to be?
You know, I think our guys will really embrace where we're at with this turf, and a lot of time and energy has been spent on the health and safety of our players, what is best for their health and safety. And so a lot of people in this organization worked tirelessly to make sure we had the best product available to where our players can function at their max ability and be safe. And it's football. It's football, so things are always going to happen. But the time and effort, and I try not to fully – I can only focus on so much. But I do appreciate ownership and Brick and Adam Nolan and all the people that were involved in that. I mean, they were tireless making sure we had the best product available. And so we're proud of where we're at with it all.
Is Adam going through different tests with cleats and guys? What I mean,
you know, there's some things that are just kept off my plate, and that's probably one of those things.
You mentioned that Pitch is going back up in the booth. Did you leave that decision up to him, or do you as play caller like having your OC up there?
That was me. Yeah, that's more comfortable for me. Obviously, he's got a great relationship with the quarterbacks, and Brad will take that over now on the bench, and Brad's going to do a great job with that. And to me, it was just too invaluable to have Pitch and Justin up there in the box.
Zach, any players that y'all as a coaching staff are talking about every day, maybe they're lesser known to us on the bubble per se?
We talk about every player every day. So, yeah, everybody. I don't look at any bubble. Again, we haven't even started the games where some guys are going to shine very brightly, and then they'll get more opportunities in practice. Obviously, the opportunities in this first game come from what you did in practice. So, but there's still a lot left to take shape. There's still a lot of opportunity left in this training camp, and so I try not to speak too quickly on guys that maybe are in the situation you're talking about.